Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll go through the 2019 April SAT Math Exam, Section 4, question 25. Okay, so if you have not seen this question yet, let's pause the video and take a look at it. If you have seen this question already, let's just play along and then we can talk about it. Now, it talks about a survey being done to 500 people, surveying the distance they commute to work every single day. So you can see the table right here. There's a survey A, which is 13.9 miles for the mean, and then there's a word that's called standard deviation, which will be the focus of this question. So I would like to take a moment to talk about what standard deviation means. So standard deviation is what we call the spread, okay, the spread of the distribution. Now, it's all based on the understanding of a bell curve, okay, and this right here is what we call our mean or average, okay. So this is so let's just say this is a sample graph. Now, let me show you a graph with a smaller deviation, a smaller standard deviation. So let's move this higher. And if it has a smaller standard deviation, that means the spread is little, it's narrow, okay? There's not much of a change. So you will see a graph that looks more like this if it has a very tiny standard deviation, okay? Now, in contrast, if it has a much wider standard deviation, then you will see something like this. Okay, it's like a little very wide hill, okay, that kind of graph. So this is what we mean by standard deviation. It's just how much it spreads out, how much it changes away from the mean, from the average. Okay, so now if you look at a table, you see something very special. It's 1.5 for both survey A and survey B. So we look at the choices now, we say, okay, would this be a part of the answer? Would this lead us to the answer? So choice A, it says there is a greater variation in the distribution of the distances people commute to work in survey A. Well, not really, okay, not really, because the variation is actually the same. Now, if I want to actually graph it, can I actually graph it here? Okay, so let's just say we have a value of 13.9 and then we have a value of 15.1. So how would this graph look like? So the graph would look like this. Okay, so that would be the graph for the 13.9, the survey A. And now, since the variation is the same, so that means the spread must be the same. So we will have another line which looks exactly the same, but the mean is going to be located at 15.1. So you have two identical graphs because they have the same standard deviation, they have the same spread on the distribution. So that's why there is no change in variation. So they must be the same. So if you look at B, B is also not true because it says the survey B has a greater variation. No, it's not. C, the variation in the distribution of the distances people commute to work is the same in both survey. Looks pretty good. So let's put a smiley face for the moment. And choice D, it is impossible to determine the variation in the distribution of the distances people commute because the means are different. No, we can determine this variation because we are given the standard deviation. So D cannot be the answer. So C is the answer. Yay! So the key point of this video and this question is that, do you understand standard deviation? The best approach to prepare yourself on standard deviation is to look at a bunch of graphs to grasp the meaning of the spread of a graph, of the distribution. Once you understand how the spread of the graph and how it relates to standard deviation, and also how it looks on a graph, then it would make a lot more sense. Okay, it would make a lot more sense on your learning on standard deviation.
Do you want some extra credit? If you do, subscribe our channel. I promise you, you will learn a lot more and get extra credit from that. If you have any question, please make sure that you email us at goodacademics@gmail.com. If you have any question in math, science, or education, just send them in and we will do our very best to resolve your problems. And I thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you will continue to learn a lot more through our channel. See you soon.